Welcome back to the layout. So I just went through and used my Dremel to sand down the edges of all the cork. There was a lot of pieces where when you tear off the cork, one side of it is got the nice smooth like incline and the other side is very rough. And I probably should have done this before I laid the track, but at the time I didn't know if I needed to or if it would really matter. But the more I was thinking about it, I think that putting ballast down would look bad on that. So I just used my Dremel with this little circular like sand paper grinding thing attachment and just kind of went through all the areas where there was a rough edge. You can see it made a mess. It's got little cork bits everywhere, but it's much smoother now and I just need to vacuum it up and then it should look a lot better. It should be much easier to put down the ballast. I've been working on this spur over here that becomes the other track that crosses the diamond over here. So I just want to show you for gluing down the track in these curves. I 3D printed these templates that go in the middle of the rails to kind of hold the track in place so that it has the correct curve radius. So these are the same ones that I used to create the curves on the ends of the track as well on the main lines. So this one is a 15.5-inch radius, or no, 15-inch radius, and this one is 16.5 inches. So that's kind of how I did that. I just used latex caulk to glue it down, and I'm holding it down with some T-pins and some push pins. I've also got this siding here where the coal mine loading area is going to be, and then over here on the back, this spur here is where the locomotive engine shop is going to be. So it should be able to hold maybe 3 or 4 locomotives there. It is isolated from the entire track. I'll have it connected with a switch probably. And then there's also, this is isolated too. So this entire spur here is separate electrically, I guess. And then that is separate as well. But I will probably connect them via a switch to the inner mainline controller. So here's the controllers that I have. 2 of these old rail power controllers. The way I have it set up right now is that with this switch in one position, that disconnects the inner main line from the outer main line. So that makes the inner main line be controlled by this controller and the outer main line controlled by this controller. So they're independent. But then say I need to run a train through the crossover here, or if I just want to run one train through the entire layout, I can flip this switch and that disconnects the inner main line from this controller and connects it to this controller, so then the entire layout is controlled by just one controller. So this is just a double pull, double throw switch. So that's how I did that. I'll probably do the same thing for this siding and then the locomotive facility siding. They're not going to have their own independent throttle, but they'll just be able to be disconnected and reconnected to the inner main line control. I've been painting the rails a brown, kind of hard to tell, but painted them brown, and the ties kind of just all painted the same color. It's just a mix of these 3 paints: black, cocoa bean, and warm brown. And I also added a little bit of water to dilute it a little bit so that it doesn't clump up too much, because the rails are so small. There's some places where the acrylic has clumped up and it kind of looks bad. Basically just painted everything the same color, the rails and the ties. And then I went back after I had painted it, and I took one of these templates for the curves and just kind of went over the top of the rail and scraped off any excess paint, because you need the rails to be able to make contact with the locomotive wheels to conduct electricity. I think it's coming along pretty well. I'll wait for the caulk to dry for that, and then I will pull up all those push pins and paint the remainder of the track there. But the entire double main lines are all painted and ready for the next step. The next step is I'm going to glue down these mountains. They're still not glued down yet. And then I'm going to cover them all in Sculptamold. So I bought a couple bags of this stuff at an art store. I also got some plaster of Paris and toilet paper to try to make my own. I've seen people online do that way as well. But I wanted to start out with some real stuff. It's like 10 bucks a bag, so I just got 2 bags. Just to see how the consistency is. And I'm not sure how much I'll actually need. After I finish the Sculptamold on all the mountains and everything, I'm going to paint all the foam, like just a base color brown for the ground before I start doing more of the scenery stuff. Thanks a lot for watching. See you later.